Hello, I'm Eric Snodgrass, and thank you for watching this brief ag forecast brought to you by Nutrien Ag Solutions. We start with the tropics and what's going on with the La Nina. I think the picture that you see here, which is showing ocean temperature anomalies on December 8th, is going to look like this for a while because the La Nina, I believe, has kind of reached a peak. We've stopped cooling across all of our major ENSO regions, and we're starting to see the trade winds, which had been pushing pretty far to the east, or excuse me, to the west. They're starting to back off a little bit. We're seeing the MJO slide around over into phases 7 and 8, which are here and here. Now, when we see that on the diagram, the question is how long do we spend in phase 7, and with the new weeklies entering phase 8 possibly toward the end of this month, what would that mean for our temperature pattern? Still no major indications that the MJO jumps out and starts on its normal progression over toward the Indian Ocean, but we do expect this pattern to be quite common. What it features is a ridge over the southeast, probably another ridge that's going to sit somewhere over parts of Western Europe, and an extended Pacific jet, which is going to give us a highly variable flow here across the west, but multiple systems that run through the United States. Now, when I think about that, the question is, where are we going to be adding that precipitation versus where are we going to be taking it away? And I want to know if there's some certain places that are dry that are going to get drier. Because as we look out there over the next 10 days, the models do really hone in on having those two big features, like the ridge over Western Europe, the southeastern ridge here, and what appears to be a pretty active pattern coming across the United States. It'll be interesting to see how much of an extended jet we do get versus how variable it becomes here in the Gulf of Alaska. But those are some of the main components I'm watching. So the European model's taken, all of this in, of course, and it's given us this forecast for December 20th to January 20th. Very active from the Mid-South through the Ohio River Valley into parts of the Great Lakes. We see above average precipitation for much of the west as well. My big concerned area is going to be right down here in Texas, getting up into parts of western Kansas, Oklahoma, and Colorado and New Mexico. This has been an area that drought has expanded, and there's some concern that that area is going to continue to stay dry as we don't still see a strong component of the subtropical jet stream developing anytime soon. From there, I also want to give you the latest long-range forecast from the NMME. So this is always released a few days after the European comes out. So we looked at the European model on Monday. Here's the latest we got for January, February, and March of this year. The European model is, the NMME is very much in step with the European model, favoring above average precip in the Pacific Northwest, parts of the Northern Plains, the Great Lakes, and the Ohio River Valley. But it wants to just continue to put drier conditions from California into the southern plains and through the southeast. Now, in the near term, there's quite a bit more precip coming to California and the southeast. But the southern plains continues to show up dry, and it's been very dry there over the last 60 days. This is percent of normal precipitation, and you can see there's a broad area in here stretching back into the desert southwest that has some places have measured no precipitation inside there in the last 60 days. But there'll be a correction over here in the coming days, and I'm going to show you that here in the next couple of minutes. First, though, quick look at the drought monitor. The newest one was just released, and I want to point out first that we've continued to see degradation of drought throughout this area and also in parts of the southeast to the mid-Atlantic. But if we just go back and look at the current drought monitor, this is the latest update given to us here on Thursday, December the 9th. Okay, we got an active pattern right now. We have winter storm watches, winter storm advisories, winter storm warnings that stretch from Wyoming up to parts of the UP of Michigan. There's some strong winds out ahead of it and strong winds to the south. In fact, this is all fire weather related here. But the west is going to continue to see above normal precipitation. In fact, some of the mountains here, like the Sierra Nevada, the Klamath Mountains, getting into the Cascades, we could be adding some places upwards of 4 feet of snow in those places. To the east of this next low that's coming out of Colorado, heading here toward Wisconsin and Michigan, we are going to see a sector open up on Friday that's going to have a risk for some severe storms. Primary threats right now, according to the Storm Prediction Center, are for straight line winds and tornadoes. And I'm going to do a kind of a multi-model analysis of this to show you what we can get. So we're going to do the high-res NAM first. So this is the 18Z run this afternoon. We see the wave that's coming here through the Four Corner States in the overnight hours tonight on Thursday night, and the snow begins to spread out ahead of it here in early in the morning on Friday. The low emerges in this part of Colorado, and just not to ignore something, we do have a weak front that just moved through the Great Lakes tonight on Thursday night through tomorrow morning that is going to spread some snow out of Ontario into Quebec. But you're going to see this low take off, and it's going to move across Kansas. Now, as I rock back and forth tomorrow morning, that's what you're looking at here. The problem with getting the moisture returned to the southern plains here is that the winds are going to be coming out of the west and not drawing deep moisture in from the Gulf. We don't see that moisture really getting pulled into the system till about late in the afternoon. So snow on the backside of this, all right? There's going to be some ice right in through this area that we're going to be able to look out for. But in this whole corridor, what I'm watching out for is storms. And we're going to see those storms showing up on Friday night. You're going to see them right here in the overnight hours, pressing on through the Saturday morning. So this whole area is where we're going to be able to look out for some strong to severe storms. Strong winds on the backside of this curl snow through Iowa, maybe into western Illinois and through southern Wisconsin. But that low quickly moves on through Lake Michigan, Lake Huron, and into Ontario. And by Saturday night, we're going to drag the front through here. Some scattered storms are going to be in place. Now, that's what the NAM model says about it. Just want to show you, this is its swath of heaviest snow. So remember, on my maps, 4 inches is where I start the blue. So there's going to be a corridor in through here of 3 to 6 plus inches. Could be even more as we get into northern Wisconsin. But I'm going to compare this in a few moments to the GFS and the European model. So let's go do that. This is our side-by-side analysis, GFS on the left, European on the right. Same features, pretty spot on in the path of this system through noon on Friday. And as we play through, as in typical fashion, by midnight on Friday night, the GFS is more advanced with the system, but it still has the severe storms to the south. European's a bit slower. See how there's more snow on the backside here by midnight, where the GFS, has pushed it farther forward. So GFS is quicker getting it through the lakes and into Ontario. But same story here that we just told. We're going to look at those snowfall totals in a minute. Watch what happens by Sunday, though. The front exits the coast, and high pressure takes over here Sunday, Monday. And that's going to open up a lot of southerly winds transporting a bunch of heat into the midsection of the country. So any snow that we do see falling in this area, is going to melt on the warmth that's going to be coming behind this. But watch the west coast. This is Monday going into Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. A deep trough comes in. Look at this. Again, Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. And we could be adding a tremendous amount of snow. I'm talking 36 to over 50 inches is possible. Heavy rains in Northern California, but it will rain all the way towards Southern California and pile up more snow here in the Great Basin and the Central Rockies. Now that wave, according to both models, this is a week out, but it emerges next Wednesday night, here in the Northern Plains. In fact, both models have the low right now in the same spot, which builds some confidence in this, but it's going to be very warm out ahead of it. So let's go ahead and put some numbers together for this. This is the European model, 7-day total snowfall. In the west, we're off my color bar, which means better than 40 inches here, Klamath Mountains, Sierra Nevada, and then along the Cascades. Interior and Northern Rockies piling it up as well, especially in Colorado. Now that's the corridor of heaviest snow in through here. The European's most aggressive once you get over to Wisconsin into the UP, but cutting across northern Lake Michigan. What's the GFS say? A little further to the north, okay? European, GFS. In that second system that comes out next Wednesday, the GFS is more aggressive on the snow to the north. But they both hammer the west coast, really piling up the snow, which is a good thing. Now, just to examine this system in the midsection of the country, I want to show you the probability of getting 3 inches. This isn't a useful metric in the west because 3 inches is nothing. But here in the central part of the United States, we just want to see what the probabilities are. So, high probabilities in through this area of better than 3 inches. What about better than 6 inches? That seems to be the main corridor for it right there in the United States. Okay. Now, on the precip side of this, on the liquid side of it, we're going to be seeing very streaky rainfall amounts in through this area. And it's all going to be based upon the thunderstorms that roll through. But the potential there from 3/4 of an inch to some places possibly picking up 2 inches is high. Again, you notice where it stays dry through this. But the west, as this deeper trough comes slinking down like that, boy, does it bring in a lot of strong onshore flow. So through the next week, we could add a lot of precipitation, especially in Northern California, out of this next system. From there, where does this pattern end up? Well, there's that same southwest ridge, right? You can even see it right here, the ridge that's over Europe. So this is going to give us flow that's going to come across the United States, basically out of the southwest. The European model takes that and keeps this corridor active. All right. Don't think that where you see white, it will be inactive, though. I expect a very active storm track from now through the end of this month. And I'm hoping that we can draw more of that moisture back here into the southern plains where it is desperately needed. Just to complement this, this is what the GFS says for week 2. Again, very consistent story here in the models over what's going on at that point. So I like that. That's a pretty solid forecast out the next couple of weeks. Wait till you see these temperatures though. This was Thursday's highs. We've already seen those. Let's get into Friday. That's the warm sector that opens up and is going to quickly destabilize. And what happens after that is that warm air pushes to the east. Saturday's a cooler day. Sunday starts a big warm up again. And you know why. The trough digs into the west. By Monday, 50s to 70s here, and wait for this. Tuesday, much warmer. Wednesday, even warmer compared to average. Temperatures anywhere between 20 and 25 degrees above average, maybe even warmer than that. And how long does that last for? We'll take a look. This is the latest update from the GFS ensemble. This is day 5 through 10. What I'm watching most carefully though is when this cold air gets let out. It'll happen when MJO gets over to phase 8. It'll happen if we can push a ridge into Alaska. And when that occurs, this will come out. And that may be not until we get closer to the 3rd and 4th week of the month. Because getting out there day 10 through 15, we start to see it coming through the Canadian prairie. So it's going to be very cold in the Canadian prairie. But the southward extent of this may just be not until maybe that week of Christmas that we see it. And that's because of the presence of that southeastern ridge. So to finish it up, I'm going to come back to the weeklies here. And instead of showing you just precip, let's go back and look at the temperatures over the next 30 days. The battleground is going to be right here in the middle. And that's where we're going to see the most active storm track. If we can return that moisture west, that would be great. But I think we're going to see more of the systems curling up through this area. The southeastern ridge is the key to this. Because that cold air is coming in. How quickly does it turn to go back to the northeast is the question. I think you're looking at this area going, wow, it's going to continue to stay mild from Oklahoma through Ohio. But toward the end of the month, we're going to let quite a bit of this cold air out at times. So I'm going to watch that all. We'll report back again on Monday. Thanks.